Hey everyone, how y'all doing? Welcome back to the Brass Ass Podcast. Yes, I am your host, Suke. Hey, look at it. I got a good one here for you today. Things are changing, folks, right, in the game of hockey. So, coaches, you need to keep current, to teach that modern hockey player today. It's not the systems, folks. It's teaching, hockey through visions, right? And that means what I'm going to talk about is developing hockey sense, folks, through situational awareness and team tactics, playing as one mind, folks. Coaches, often, they fall back on that structural systems. Yeah, and these systems, whether they be 2-1-2 forecheck or a neutral zone trap or a box plus one defense setup, are designed to bring order to the chaos of the game. I know that, but I'm telling you something. They tell players where to go, and where and when to go. But in doing so, what they're doing actually is they rob the players of the opportunity, folks, to think, hockey sense. 1-2-2, 2-1-2. I'm telling you, they become stagnant, ignoring what's developing in real time. But the truth is, folks, hockey is chaos. Now, if you taught a strict system, let's say, right, that defensemen now hesitate, in thinking and using their mind, right, is that my puck? They start getting confused because you've taught them a strict system. A better method, one that cultivates hockey IQ, hockey sense, is to teach vision. And this isn't about wingers go here, right, and D go there. It's about the puck is in this zone. This is what we're looking for, and this is how we will respond. So now what happens is the concept becomes, now if the puck is in this area, we operate under this principle. For example, okay, the offensive corner, right? The closest player pressures with inside angle. And, the next player reads for retrieval or support. The third player supports high or pinches based on F1, his angle or her angle, and the D pinches. And also the neutral zone. The neutral zone wide lane, right? These are all examples, but if an opponent puck carrier is stationary or support, our support is limited, right? F1 can then pressure aggressively, right? While the F2 reads the angle and F3 closes the space in anticipation. And the defensive zones, the low slot. All players understand their primary responsibility in front of the net protection, right? And sticks in the lanes, regardless of the position. So segmenting that ice, right, allows now the players to develop a zone-based reaction, a system that is team-wide and predictable. Each segment is going to tell you has its own conceptual logic. Really helping the players build a mental framework for how to behave in high speed scenarios. If the idea isn't to overwhelm players with variables. Not at all. It helps them, right? It really does. It helps to give them clarity through repetition. Let's apply this one of the most misunderstood elements in hockey, the forecheck. Rather than simply labeling a system like we play a 1-2-2 or we run a 2-1-2, well, coaches, we need to start with deeper questions that help players think critically, right? Like, what are we trying to accomplish with the forecheck? When is the puck retrievable and when is it not? Who is the closest to the puck and what is their angle of approach? What should the rest of the team read off that first player's reaction? Now, if F1 sees the opposing D bobble the puck, right, or the situation reads as winnable, and it does, the team now has that green light to pursue aggressively, right? Because you're reading the play. If F1 reads a clean breakout forming, the reaction may be to contain and delay instead. But this only works if the team has been taught how to read F1's route. You got to go as a unit. How to slide into pressure, support or delay the coverage, right? And how to rotate seamlessly without worrying about which player is the defenseman or a forward. There is no wrong decision. Every player reacts as one unit. And coaches, you need to teach positionless hockey, right? You do. Conceptual teaching naturally leads to a more positional-less style of play. Now, not in the sense that roles disappear entirely. No, don't get me wrong. But in that any player can make a play, right? And take over that responsibility based on their proximity, right? Their area, where they are, and angle to the puck. This builds flexibility, folks, and trust within your group. Forwards should feel empowered to cover the point or drop low to break up a cycle. Defensemen now should feel confident, carrying the puck or driving, the net off the rush, driving to that net, right? If the team understands the concepts, then players don't need to ask permission to make a hockey player, is what I'm trying to say. They simply act, right? The team reacts around them, right? And this is how trust and hockey sense are built. Players gain confidence from knowing, what their teammates will adapt if they jump in. And reinforcing repetition and reaction, the shift, from systems to concepts isn't just theoretical, folks. It has to be lived out on the ice, by the way. That means structuring your practices around decision-making and reaction-based drills, not just pattern work over and over again, right? Because you know what? The game is chaos, and it just changes on a dime. Coaches need to create drills, emphasize, puck recovery in zones with multiple options, right? Train players to read support layers off a teammate's angle of approach. Mix players' positions so everyone is expected to fill, each role at some point. Build small area games around segmented zones, and give each zone a principle. For example, in this box, we're going to pursue if the puck is bobbled, right? Otherwise, we contain. In this area, for example, again, closest player engages. Everyone else reads off the direction of the pressure. The positive outcome here is, folks, and coaches especially, these rules will repeat, become instinct over time. And you got to keep in mind, it's not about giving players total freedom. No, right? It's about giving them structured freedom, right? Like within each zone, the team understands how to behave, how to adjust, and what outcomes they're trying to create. Teaching hockey sense, coaches, IQ, right, and confidence is so important, right? Hockey sense can be taught even to players who may not be naturally creative or instinctive, right? You got those players out there. That's okay. What they need is a clear framework then for decision making based on puck location and pressure and repetition, in live scenarios where their choices lead to visible outcomes. Now confidence, folks, is knowing that no matter what they do, their teammates will read and respond accordingly. That's the difference between a team of players running a system and a team that plays as one mind. The thing is, coaches must lead the way. All of these require courage vision from the coaching staff. That's where it's coming from. You have to be willing to let go of the systems, the tension, in favor of long-term growth, right? It means tolerating mistakes then in the short run for the sake of teaching decision making, knowing that success is born really out of failure. It means resisting the urge to just to plug in the 1-2-2 or the 2-1-2 when things go sideways, right? More importantly, it means taking responsibility for developing smarter players, not just compliant ones. It's time to throw away that fixed playbook. You throw it away, I'm telling you. You got to keep current to the modern hockey player because things are changing. Start teaching the game in layers of logic, not lines on a whiteboard. Teach zone-based reactions, right? Read and react support, right? And the power of conceptual understanding. Because I'll tell you something, at the end of the day, hockey isn't about where you were told to go. It's really about understanding why you're going there, when you go, and how, and the team moves with you, right? That's the game, folks, and it's one worth teaching, the right way. So you have it, folks. It's, we're in the middle of the summertime. And you know what? I'm glad you plug into the Brass Ass podcast, folks. And you know what? We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on YouTube, right? So listen, enjoy the rest of the summer, folks. I am your host, Suitcase Ace. You have just listened to the rest of the story.